Hi everybody, it's Ann Patchett and a very sleepy Nemo Van Devender. I have so much to cover today. All right, first off, Parnassus Books for Business featured book is the featured book everywhere right now, Spell Freedom, The Underground Schools That Built the Civil Rights Movement by Elaine Weiss. And I read The Woman's Hour, which was her last book, huge hit, and I loved it. Also, my sister, who is Parnassus Books for Business, said it should just be business.parnassusbooks.net with no backsplash, she says. So thanks, Heather. I keep meaning to tell you, the Dutch House, there is a show of paintings about the Dutch House at Cheekwood. It runs until March 16th. If you have a chance, go and see it. The Becky Suss paintings from this novel, phenomenal. All right, today, as soon as I am done, Elise, come over here because I know I'm gonna get this wrong. Elise and I are going down to the Hill in Nashville, and we are gonna be part of State Representative Justin Jones' first
annual Literary Day on the Hill.
It takes two of us to get this done. And we're gonna be talking about banned books and the freedom to read. And I will be giving a reading at 11 o'clock from Jackie Woodson's book, Brown Girl Dreaming, which I read when it came out in 2014, and I reread it in the last 2 days. And oh my gosh, this is the most astonishing book and highlights the stupidity of book banning like nothing else, because it's important, beautiful, and hey, it won the National Book Award. Books that are just out. My friend Paul Lisicky, Song So Wild and Blue, a nonfiction memoir about being so in love with Joni Mitchell that Joni informs every piece of his life. This is for hardcore Joni Mitchell fans, Paul Lisicky fans, and I am that person. 2 dream books. Layla Leilani, The Dream Hotel. I read this whole thing, and it is spectacular. She is such a brilliant writer, and this is such a weird, super disquieting, dare I say, although it's not selling, anxiety provoking, like by which I mean when you call something anxiety provoking, that's not like a great sales pitch, but it's so well done. And it is in the near future when we have chips in our brains and the government can read our dreams and find out what crimes we might commit in the future. My hands were shaking the whole time I read this book. And another dream count, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, one of our very best writers, one of Nigeria's very best writers, and this is a pandemic novel about 4 friends getting through. Now, this is what I gotta tell you about. I got an email at the bookstore from Margaret in Canada, and Margaret said, how are you guys feeling about the threat to Canadian sovereignty? We would love to know that you support us as Canadians being free, sovereign Canadians in our own country, and maybe give a little love to some Canadian authors. Margaret, what a great idea. There is nothing I would like more than that. So I'm going to start out with Canadians who are actually in Canada. Callie George, Anne Dreams. This is a series of children's chapter books based around Anne of Green Gables. Sell a ton of these, we love them. Margaret Atwood, oh, by the way, I'm just doing the living. Margaret Atwood, Blind Assassin. That's my favorite Margaret Atwood book, and Margaret Atwood, one of my favorite writers, just like she's everybody's favorite writer. Michael Ondaatje, The English Patient. If you go back and watch the New to You videos, you will see I have done videos about these people. I am actually technically in love with Michael Ondaatje. Okay, let's just make that clear. Life of Pi, Jan Martel, Around the World. Everybody read Life of Pi. And of course, everybody reads Louise Penny. Canadian all the way. Now we have a couple of Canadians who are down here. We love them anyway. Station 11, Emily St. John Mandel, Malcolm Gladwell. Could anybody seem more Canadian than Malcolm Gladwell? And Robert Munsch, Love You Forever. great children's books. And here is Emma Donoghue, who is an Irish woman who lives in Canada and claims Canada. We have an event with her coming up for her new book about a novel about trains, and she's going to be in conversation with her own cat Buck, and there's still tickets. And I'm going to end by saying this is a book that isn't out yet, and it's coming out in June, and I love it so passionately. Maria Riva, you're going to be hearing me talk a lot more about this in the future. She lives in Canada, and wait for it, she's Ukrainian. She represents 2 countries that I hope we keep our mitts off. Thanks. Lindsay, jump on in.
Hello, happy Women's History Month. Shout out to A Room of One's Own, whose sweatshirt I'm wearing, a feminist independent bookstore in Madison, Wisconsin, who've been open since the 70s. Hooray for a feminist independent bookstore open since the 70s. I have a lot to go through. As Anne experienced last week, I have a lot of new releases. Thanks for covering for me, Anne, last week.
We missed you so much, don't you? Don't you ever leave your room again.
Okay, I'll go back to my room. If you miss any of these, they are listed on the new releases page. You can see them all in a tidy, nice list. You can click on the picture. You can read the descriptions. So I'm going to go fast. The Reese pick is Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. Love Triangle, Murder Trial. Ooh, fun. The Good Morning America pick is Sophie Stava, Count My Lies. If you need a good thriller, check this one out. For some climate fiction, Charlotte McConaughey, who's written Migrations, along with other beautiful climate writing, is out with Wild Dark Shore today. Okay, if I could get everybody to read one book, if you can buy one book today, I would make you buy Woodworking by Emily St. James. I adored this book. It is set in rural South Dakota. It follows a teacher who only confronts her own trans identity when one of her 17-year-old students comes out as trans and is the only other trans person she knows in all of South Dakota. It is so heartfelt, but it's also hilarious. Emily St. James writes for television. It's funny, it's punchy, it's great. I loved it. Please read this book. For some sci-fi fantasy, Amal El-Motar, who is half of the writing duo who brought you This Is How You Lose the Time War, is out with The River Has Roots today. For some poetry, Tiana Clark, who was formerly of Nashville, she graduated from the Vandy MFA program and has gone on to have the most incredible career in poetry, is out with a new poetry collection, Scorched Earth, that I cannot wait to dive into. For some nonfiction, Amanda Wynn is out with Saving Five, a memoir. Another memoir, Chloe Dalton, Raising Hair. And for some hefty nonfiction, 7 Social Movements That Changed America by Linda Gordon. Feels like a pertinent book. Check these out, and kicking it over to Elise.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say, if you're in driving distance to the Hill here in Nashville, I'll see you there. Ann and I are leaving. Some of our staff is already there. Again, it's Justin Jones' first annual Literary Day on the Hill, celebrating Read Across America. So everybody should be there. Librarians and students and educators and booksellers and everybody. Everybody will be there. Banning books, bad. Okay, I also just want to say, because I'm reading this right now, Lauren Michaels, Canadian.
Yay!
Okay. And then I do want to talk about last week, because Padraig O'Tuama. Honestly, I just think if you are, if you're happy, if you're not happy, if you're having a down day, if you're having a great day, listen to his podcast and or pick up one of these books. This is the 44 poems on being with each other. So Padraig did the introduction and collected these. These are from his podcast. And then these are original Padraig O'Tuama poems, and this is Kitchen Hymns. And I don't know how well you can see the cover, but it looks like a hymn book and stained like a kitchen recipe cookbook. And it is so fabulous on the outside, but most importantly on the inside. He is a gem. And then, as Anne said, we are having an event partnering with the Nashville Public Library, Nashville Public Library Foundation, for Elaine Weiss, Spell Freedom. This is an amazing book. I believe that it is completely full at the library. However, we always get cancellations. So if you want to continue to look at the website and grab a ticket, they are free, but we will have copies of Spell Freedom, which is also business.parnassusbooks.net. So this is Books for Business pick, as well as it should be your pick. And speaking of my pick, is Rayanne.
Oh, thank you, Elise. Hi, everyone. There's so many kids' books out today, so I'm going to bring on a friend to help me talk about them. Hi, friend.
Hello! Remember when I said we ride at dawn for the Teeny Weeny Unicorn by Sean Harris? We ride at dawn again. There's another book. The Teeny Weeny Unicorn's Great Big Wish. I met Sean last week. Hi, Sean, if you're watching this, do you want to be my friend? I love your books.
Thanks, Lindsay. So awesome. Lindsay likes picture books, so do I. Picture books are for everyone, by the way. And this is a new one called Papilio. It is by Ben Clinton, Corey R. Tabor, Andy Chu Musser. It's about a little caterpillar transitioning to a butterfly, and we have some signed copies. Our friend Mr. Shu has a new picture book out today, illustrated by Holly Hatam, Ruthie Rose's Big Idea. Ruthie Rose's Big Idea, it's a poem, and it spreads all throughout her school and bursts creativity everywhere. Wind Watchers by Misha Archer, Caldecott Honor winner. This is a book all about the changing seasons. For graphic novel fans of the Secret Tea Dragon Society, there's a new standalone, A Song for You and I, by Kay O'Neill. This is about Rowan, who is a ranger and needs to do some amazing protection with the help of a flying horse. You know you love a horse book. In middle grade today, The Trouble with Sunshine by Yamil Saeed Mendez. This is about a girl who moves and gets some help adjusting from a horse. Right Back at You by Carolyn Mackler. And this is about a girl who writes a letter to Albert Einstein and gets a letter back from the past. Middle grade, more. Alan Gratz has a new D-Day book, Resist. It's a little tiny book. Jennifer A. Nielsen, One Wrong Step, about two kids climbing Mount Everest on the eve of World War II. Jennifer will be here for school visits this week, so we'll have some signed copies of this book. Moving to YA, I Am Made of Death by Kelly Andrew. This is about someone who's an interpreter for a person whose voice is poisonous to all who hear it. Our Infinite Fates, a beautiful book about two people reincarnated to join together through time and murder each other. The Scorpion and the Night Blossom by Amelie Wen Zhao, another beautiful book. And this is about a girl who is in the kingdom of the night. Nick Stone has a new book in the Dear Martin and Dear Justice series, Dear Manny. And you've been waiting a long time for the third Legendborn book. It's here, Oathbound. Pick it up and read it this week. Thanks for listening, and thanks for shopping at Parnassus.